Well, I think that's a good place to begin. And you referred to the fact that we associate foreign policy at the beginning with non-alignment. So what was non-alignment? Non-alignment was a country expressing its independence in a particular era. So we are talking 1940s, 50s, 60s, maybe a little bit more, maybe 70s. But it was an era where our own capabilities was limited, and also where we did not always put our national interest first. So sometimes maybe we did not get the gains and the benefits we could have, but that is in the past. Now, thereafter, what happened was we faced a big challenge in the 1990s. As you yourself said, this was a time of reform. It was a time of reform because the economic policies from the 1940s till 1990 did not succeed. So we had a crisis.
Yes.
So we now had to not only change our economic policy, we had to change our foreign policy, because economic policy and foreign policy go together. Now today what has happened is we are in a different era. It is an era, one, where we are more capable, we are more confident, we are more ambitious, we think we can make a big difference. We are today the number 5 country economically in the world. Those days we were number 10 or 12 or something like that. And it is also a time which is more globalized, which is more technology driven. So the challenges are different, the capabilities are different, the goals are different. And under Prime Minister Narendra Modi today, because he himself today has a good understanding of the world, he has great faith in the people of India, especially the youth of India. He has a strong sense of technology, and he believes that we can take full advantage of global opportunities. So we are today much more active, much more visible. We are shaping the big issues and ideas of our time, and we are nationalistic and international at the same time. That we are doing more with the world, but we always do so with India's interest at the core. Not like in the past, where often we sacrificed India's interest, or we put India's interest behind the interest of some other country because of some ideological reason.
India will be hosting the G20 Leaders Summit for the first time on 9th and 10th September 2023. In the previous G20 Leaders Summit, Prime Minister Narendra Modi had been laying emphasis on green development, climate finance, lifestyle for the environment as India's priorities. The New Delhi G20 Leaders Summit also comes at a time when the big powers are divided over the war in Ukraine. How much will that impact the summit's final outcome? And what will be India's key deliverables at the summit?
See, there are two big divides that the G20 has to address. One you mentioned, which is, you can say, the East-West divide because of the Ukraine conflict. But there is a bigger divide, the North-South divide of development, divide of growth, divide of health, of education, even of climate action. So India today is, I would say, somewhere in a center. We have to find a solution for North-South. We have to find a solution for East-West, both of them. That is a big responsibility. And it is a responsibility by being the presidency of the G20. We have taken it upon ourselves. Our focus today is to get the world and the G20 to concentrate on the right problems. And that is why, in preparation for the G20, Prime Minister actually held a summit virtually called the Voice of Global South. So we had almost 125 countries who participated at different levels in the summit. And from their concerns, these were all developing countries, and their concerns of the developing countries, we tried today to put these forward to see, for example, whether there is a concern developing countries have to reach goals or sustainable development goals. Sustainable development goals for normal, ordinary people, I should say, would be health, education, water, electricity, sanitation. What is a proper, decent living. Now, many countries today, because of economic pressure, economic stress, they are not able to continue that progress on sustainable development goals. There's a second issue, which is climate. So everybody accepts climate is a very big issue. But to deal with climate, you need resources.
Yes.
Okay. Now the developed countries, keep promising resources, but they don't actually deliver on their promise very often. So how do we today get green financing? Because if we don't do something about, the people who will be most impacted by climate will be developing countries. So that is also today a big issue. So I'm giving you two examples. But there is the issue of debt. A very large number of countries today, they have big debts. They cannot pay back their debts. Many of them are facing trade disruption. Countries are facing, that they cannot pay for their energy. Many of them have problems with food imports. So these are really important problems. And India has taken it upon itself to make these problems the center of the conversation. But that is one part, what is happening inside the room. There is the other part. And the other part is the manner in which Prime Minister today feels the people should be involved with G20. See, even in AIR, AKASHVANI Bhavan, when I come, I see today a G20 logo, G20 poster. You go anywhere in India, every city of India, any public space in India, many universities of India, people today have attached themselves to G20. They know this is something big. They know this is an opportunity for India to make its global presence felt. It's also a way of promoting all the regions and cities of India.
Showcasing our things.
Okay, yes, because we could have done G20 in, say, 5 big cities. Okay, you say, Delhi, Mumbai, Kolkata, Bengaluru, Chennai.
But it is all over.
But we are doing 60 cities. Okay, we are doing all the states and union territories. So the whole idea is showcase India. Also make the Indian public understand why is this important for you. Why is foreign policy important for you? Not only G20.
Yes.
What can we do to contribute more? So this is what he calls Jan Bhagidari. That we should make this into ये ऑफिस का काम नहीं होना चाहिए, कूटनीति का नहीं होना चाहिए, जनता को इसके साथ जुड़ना चाहिए. That वो प्रधानमंत्री की बार माने वो दोहराते हैं कि ये जो आप G20 में जो कर रहे हैं, इसको आप माने मीटिंग कॉन्फ्रेंस सरकारी तौर पर ना करें,
लोगों तक पहुंचे.
हाँ, लोगों तक और लोगों को जुड़ने का अवसर दें. That is really the, and to my, I have been now in diplomacy for from 1977, so it is 46 years I'm doing. I have never seen anything like this in the past. That the normal citizen says, अच्छा वो foreign policy पता नहीं कोई और करता है, दूर की बात है, दूर का आदमी है, मेरा क्या लेना देना. This time it is not like that.
Sir, during its G20 presidency, India has focused on the area that have potential to bring structural transformation, like integration of MSMEs to global trade, promotion of labor rights, building inclusive agricultural food chains, value system, and blue economy. So, what is the thought or rationale behind these focus areas?
I have to follow a little bit of history of G20. Initially, G20 started because there was a global financial crisis. At that time, till 2008, 7 countries, they were called G7. They used to deal with global financial matters. But they realized now global economy has grown, more countries need to be brought in, big solutions are not possible without them. Then every year when they meet, they add something more. So today we have almost, I think, 15 ministerial streams. So finance is the most important. But for example, I chair the development stream. There's a labor one, there's an education one, there's a woman. So it's all this issue. So what are we trying to do? We are trying to look at different areas and try to see if we G20 agree in any area. You said MSME, or say labor.
Yes.
If there is a G20 agreement on that, I would say energy, a very, very big subject of discussion. One, it will feed into the total G20 solution. So जब वो लीडर लोग आएंगे सितंबर में और उनकी जब सहमति बनेगी, in that full agreement, हाँ, इसका भी एक पहलू होगा, हाँ, इसका एक one facet of it will be this. But it is also, you must understand, there is life beyond G20. So I mentioned to you, for example, Sustainable Development Goals. अब SDG इसको कहते हैं. अब SDG की एक summit होने वाली है सितंबर में. Now, if G20 agrees on things on SDG, it has an impact on SDG when the main meeting takes place. If G20 agrees on, say, women-led development, it has an impact. There will be COP28 in climate action. It will be meeting in UAE. What we decide in G20 in respect of climate, that will directly feed into what will happen in the COP. So one part is you are working in G20, you are pulling in different activities, उसका आप एक निचोड़ बनाएंगे, वो निचोड़ जो है that will, वो जो G20 के नेता जो होंगे उनकी सर्वसम्मति से ये इसको हम दुनिया के सामने प्रस्तुत करेंगे. परंतु जो G20 की अलग अलग उनके आइडियाज जो हैं, भावनाएं जो हैं, उनकी उपलब्धियां जो हैं, वो अपने अपने डोमेन में कुछ और भी अगर दुनिया में कुछ हो रहा है उस पर भी इसका प्रभाव होगा. तो दैट्स व्हाई इसको आप G20 को आप एक किस्म से एक साल का कार्यक्रम की परिप्रेक्ष्य न देखें. ये लॉन्गर हर जो भी इसकी अध्यक्षता लेता है उनकी एक किस्म से एक बहुत बड़ी जिम्मेदारी होती है. और ये जिम्मेदारी जो है ये एक साल के लिए नहीं, क्योंकि G20 फंक्शंस इन 3 कि आप पहले के आने वाले प्रेसिडेंट हैं, अभी के प्रेसिडेंट हैं, पिछले प्रेसिडेंट हैं, तो हाँ तीन ट्रॉइका कहते हैं. तो आप इसको 3 साल के लिए किस्म से गाइड कर सकते हैं. और हमारी खुशकिस्मती है कि आगे वाला जो प्रेसिडेंट है वो ब्राज़ील है. So that is also very, very helpful to us because we are, with BRICS and IPSA, we are linked with them. So this whole G20, one is जो देश में जो हो रहा है, जो जिस तरीके से हम कहते हैं ना that we should make India world ready. You have to make world India ready.
Yes, sir.
People from the world should see 60 cities at least of India, minimum. People from India should see all these people from G20 because there are 20 countries, there are 9 guests, there are 14 international organizations, but we are calling many other delegates also. So ultimately you will get almost 100 countries who will come.
Neighborhood First has been a focus area of your ministry. It is said that there have been more deliveries on the ground in terms of concrete projects in the neighboring countries than ever in the past. Could you elaborate the nature of expansion that has happened?
See, what you are saying, first of all, is true. That if you look, any of our neighbors, Nepal jaye, Bangladesh, Bhutan, Sri Lanka, Maldives, even Myanmar, there is a big improvement in our delivery. Why is there improvement in delivery? First of all, there is improvement of delivery at home in India. Okay. So if in Delhi or Kolkata or in Uttar Pradesh or Madhya Pradesh or Tamil Nadu, if today your road building is better, your metro building is better, your power grids are so if you are giving that kind of attention and effort and resources to make things happen better in India, it is natural that it will happen beyond India also.
Yes.
Huh? So if a company today, you tell a company, look, I am very serious about this project. It must be done at cost, it must be done on time. Once they get into that mindset, then automatically they start going beyond. So this is one reason. Second, Prime Minister himself has a particular program. It is called it's like a I would say like a evaluation program. It's called Pragati.
Yes.
He started it very early, 2014. What happens in Pragati is he selects a list of say 20 projects. Those 20 projects, all the people involved with those 20 projects, they have to be on video link.
Yes.
And he says, okay, please explain to me ये क्यों आगे नहीं बढ़ा, क्या प्रॉब्लम थी,
Problem.
कहाँ रुकावट थी, कहाँ पैसे कम थे, कहाँ बजटिंग नहीं किया, कहाँ लैंड एक्विजिशन, कहाँ एनवायरमेंटल क्लियरेंस. तो क्या होता है कि the moment you do this kind of coordination and then सबको लगता है अरे प्राइम मिनिस्टर खुद कर रहे हैं,
प्राइम मिनिस्टर खुद
then it has impact on
Yes,
people. So now this mindset हम लोग भी विदेश मंत्रालय में करने लग गए. अब जैसे मैं देखता हूँ, मैं रेगुलरली आई वुड से अच्छा चलिए बांग्लादेश, लेट अस सिट डाउन वन सैटरडे एंड जो भी बांग्लादेश के पेंडिंग प्रोजेक्ट्स हैं, प्लीज टेल मी वेयर आर वी. देन नेक्स्ट मंथ आई वुड से ओके लेट अस सिट नेपाल के देखते हैं. सो one way is this also. The third is neighborhood first policy itself. See, what is neighborhood first policy? ये देश जो है हमारे पड़ोसी हैं. Now, if India is to grow, if India is growing, not if it is growing. It's like, see, suppose in your street, okay, you are doing well in your house.
Yes.
You also want the rest of the street to also
should
be
happy at least.
Should be happy and should actually enjoy benefits of your success also. So today it is important for us that our neighbors feel, oh, very good for us, India is growing. We are also getting the benefit. So I'll give you a practical example. 2-3 examples I will give you. We are today, very big petroleum consumers. We have big refineries. So when a country like India is able to produce petroleum on a big scale, the cost comes down.
Yes.
Smaller country will not get that cost. They may not have that refinery capability. They may have to import from somewhere. Then if they have to import, wo truck mein aayega, so that will also have its own cost. Now, with two of our neighbors, Nepal and Bangladesh, today we have connected a pipeline by which from India they get the benefit of getting petrol and diesel, so that at a cost which is very, very competitive. It has brought down the fuel cost in their country. We've also agreed just recently to do this for Sri Lanka. It will be done through the sea. I'll give you a different example. Electricity. Now, what happens? Different countries are able to generate electricity at different times. So sometimes there are countries where during rainy season they produce more, during dry season less. Some people have all the year, they have mountains and high flow rivers, so that hydel projects are very good. So you have countries like Bhutan or Nepal. Now I'll give you the case of Nepal. Some years ago, Nepal was a power deficient country at that time.
Yes.
We built a transmission grid. So from India, we started supplying power to Nepal. Now in the next few years, Nepal also, there were dams which were built, hydel projects which were built. They also started generating electricity. So now the same transmission which is taking from India,
It's not giving back.
brings from Nepal. Some seasons we supply, some seasons they supply. Some areas we supply, which is, depending on the local, some areas they supply. So what happens today is, if you look at our neighbors, if you look at the last 10 years, what has changed in last 10 years? Any of borders you go today, if you look at the picture of that same border 10 years ago, what is the road like? The road is different. What is the checkpoint like? Checkpoint is different. Is there a railway line? Many cases there was not. Were there bus services, train services, waterways? 10 years ago in many cases there were not. Is there electricity supply? Yes. Is there fuel supply? Yes. How many people are crossing? More. Has trade gone up? Yes. So it has today changed the perception. And then once you start having this, good feeling about each other, then it is like a family. Within family you can have distrust, you can even have tension, or you can have great affection and comfort. If family is comfortable, you had a problem like COVID. Okay, we, all our neighbors know that during COVID, we gave them medicines, we sent them vaccines. After COVID, Sri Lanka got into a very big economic crisis. We gave a lot of financial help to Sri Lanka. So today, after 9 years, we are in the 10th year of neighborhood first. Our neighbors today feel very differently about India. They feel today, okay, this is, yes, it is the biggest country, but it is a country which doesn't say, I will only do this if you will do that. It's a country with a large heart. It is a country with generosity. It is a country which will step forward with a dependable friend at times of trouble. So it has changed. If you go today to any of our neighbors, especially if you talk to the normal, average citizen, they have a very different view today about India.
Sir, actually India has improved the border infrastructure to a lot since 2014. Could you please elaborate a little bit about the trilateral highway which is going to connect India, Myanmar and Thailand?
See, this was a project which was started some years ago. It's a very difficult project because it has to go through Myanmar. So it goes from the northeast India to Myanmar, through Myanmar to Thailand, and many countries are keen to extend it beyond Thailand. We have to construct roughly, I think, about 115 kilometers, which has to be built, because many parts of the road already exist. So some has to be upgraded, some connection banana. And we have to build bridges. There are, I think, 69 bridges we have to build. We have done on the road, I would say, more than 50% of the work.
So budget allocation has also increased 4 times in between 2014 to till this year.
Budget,
4 times increase.
No, but there are many reasons for it, which is that I would say the details of the project, the access of the project changed. Then the quality of the project changed. Then people, initially when people started doing it, they didn't have the experience really to understand what it meant to do such a complicated project. And whenever there is a delay has a cost. So essentially our problem today is we are mobilized. Work was going on in some areas. The contractors were also there. And then the law and order situation in Myanmar created a problem.
Yes.
So today we are trying to see how can I continue the work, and we can only do it if we have the cooperation of the authorities. Without that it is not possible. Obviously it is not something, we have to be careful also, because, we are asking our people to work there, you should not put them in a dangerous situation. So, why I am telling you this is, please understand one thing. It is not so easy to work outside our country. There are many parts of the world where it can be dangerous security-wise. You are dealing with different system, different culture, different practices. We've had, for example, we did a lot of projects in Afghanistan at that time.
Yes.
Before the Taliban took over. It was very tough to do these projects. So, in fact, many of them, after Prime Minister Modi came, he pushed us saying, look, complete it, finish it, and we did. We did a dam, we did the parliament, etc. But the point I'm making is, doing a project outside India is very much harder than doing a project inside India. Because you are not in control of that country the way you are in control of your own country. The working conditions in that country are different from yours. You may not know it till you start working there. Myanmar is an example. Until you actually, if you look at the terrain, you look at the, the difficulties of working there. I think people who started this project did not expect it at the start. So this is a very particular challenge we have. But I am happy to say, if I look at the last 10 years, there has been a huge improvement. Today there would be projects in the world. We have done, I would say, below cost, before time. There are projects, if I take even last 1 year, I would give, I was in Guyana, very far away in South America. We delivered a ferry, which was made by this Garden Reach workshop in Kolkata. I was in Mozambique. We sent train sets because they wanted a suburban system like Mumbai has,
Yes.
where people can come in. There would be cases. I've seen road building in different parts. Water. I did went to Tanzania. We are like our Jal Jeevan mission in India. We are going to be supplying water, which is about a lot of the work is already done. So 50% is being done to 22 cities. 8 million people will be beneficiaries of the water. So these are big game-changing projects. Today, when people think about India and the world, they say, okay, for them, India, we started when you said non-alignment.
Yes.
Today, when they think of India, they think capability. They think, India, oh, they did the water project. Oh, India is capable of railways. They're very impressed by what we have done digital. They're very impressed by how we did responded to COVID. So our I would say image.
UPI system also.
UPI, yes.
Digital UPI payments.
So our image has changed in the world.
As per the recent statement given by the Minister of External Affairs, India wants friendly relations with neighboring countries, including Pakistan. Could you please throw some more lights on this issue?
No, you see, there's nothing I can say you don't know. After all, tell me one thing. Who does not want good relations with neighbors? Everybody does. As I said, if you live in a street, you want to be on good terms with everybody on the street. But you cannot have a neighbor who does terrorism and ignore it. You cannot overlook it. You cannot say, acha, he is like that, so I have to live with it. Now, unfortunately, in the past, sometimes some people took that view, that that's the way the Pakistanis are. But I don't think today this country, and definitely not this government, and 100% not this Prime Minister, we will not accept this. That if some, we still say, if Pakistan gives up the support for terrorism, otherwise what other issue? Of course, there is other issues, but the key is the terrorism issue.
Sir, the Act East policy announced in November 2014 is an initiative to promote economic, strategic, and cultural relations with the vast Asia-Pacific region at different levels. India firmly supports ASEAN centrality and the ASEAN outlook on the Indo-Pacific. Could you throw some light on the deliverables in terms of boosting connectivity and promoting cooperation?
See, the Act East started as Look East 30 years ago. In the last 10 years, we have added more facets to it. We do more security cooperation, we do more connectivity, we do more digital, and I would say we work with them in larger forums as well. So for us, these are very important partners. They are our, their region with which we have a strong historical connection. This is a partnership we should continue growing. That is what we are trying to do. And I would say really, we have just upgraded our relationship last year to what is called a comprehensive strategic partnership. And if you ask in that region, most, our partners also feel that, this is a relationship which has served both of us very, very well.
Sir, India today is a fast responder to disaster situations and provider of relief and assistance to many in distress. For example, India's Dost operation come to aid of earthquake-affected Turkey and Vaccine Maitri initiative during COVID-19 pandemic. Could you please elaborate a little bit for our listeners?
I began by telling you that this is today an India of greater confidence, of greater capability. You spoke about non-alignment, and I said that's a different era. Today, when we look at global situation, we say, okay, how can India contribute? How can we help the world if they have problems? Obviously, this is most important in our neighborhood. Okay, so if you remember some years ago, there was an earthquake, very big earthquake in Nepal.
Yes.
We were the first country to be there. We've had problems in Sri Lanka or Maldives or Myanmar. Now, as our capabilities grow, then it is also natural we will go beyond. Second, again, this is a initiative that Prime Minister himself is responsible for. See, when he was Chief Minister of Gujarat, there was a very big earthquake.
Yes.
Remember at that time. No, you're correct. It had just happened when he took over. Now, from there, he developed both an interest and an experience. How do you prepare for disasters, and how do you respond to disasters? So, very early on, I'm now talking 2014-15, he felt we should create a force which will respond to disaster. They are trained, they are ready to go, they're dedicated. So if something happens, they will move fast. And over the years, this has grown. And in fact, that is why in the case of Turkey, we were able to move so fast. But he's also tabled an international initiative called Coalition for Disaster Resilient Infrastructure. That we build infrastructure which is more resistant to disasters, climate disasters or earthquakes, etc. So these, being a first responder today, this is part of India's changing image. When the world thinks of Modi's India, Modi's India today is a India which is first responder. Modi's India is a Vaccine Maitri India. Okay, Modi's India is a Operation Ganga. You will not leave your students behind in a
war-ravaged country.
And who will fight for the rights of the developing countries. So this is really, again, I come back to your main theme, What has changed in 10 years? These are all signs of changes, examples of changes.